What's up, my chicas?
Hello.
How are y'all?
Alive and kicking.
Woohoo!
Living the
I
dream.
like to hear. Living the
Okay,
dream in
we're
corporate
all
America.
working
I
still.
feel you, baby.
Our cup runneth over here. Let's put it that way.
Right?
Sorry.
You're right.
I still just need to find how to become a millionaire overnight without having to put in the work. That's what I really need. So anyone out there that has any hints or just want to write me a check for $1 million tonight, I'm available. Just putting that there.
Do I get some of that money?
Absolutely.
That's what I thought.
Well, then maybe we should make it 3 million, one for each of us, right?
Let's go ahead and do 4. We'll get Megan covered as well. So anyone that would like to write a check for $4 million, you can just send it to Chicks and Salsa, and we'll be more than happy to put it to good use. Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Exactly.
If we do that, then we are totally getting a really nice hotel for Super Bowl next year.
Just Super Bowl?
Girl.
Listen.
We might be able.
I mean, we can talk family.
With that money, we might be able to afford a hotel room for the draft in Green Bay, although I don't know. They're going as high as $18,000 a night, I've heard. Some of them.
Whoa, mama, that's ridiculous.
Because there isn't as many.
You know what? They just need to put the draft in Las Vegas because hotel rooms are kind of cheap there, like $200 a night. And
no, but they'll run it up because being from the travel industry, they're going to recoup money. They're going to get the money when they can. So those hotel nights in Vegas even fluctuate depending on what convention's in town.
That's why you get the cheap room. Then you check in and you slide a dollar bill, like 50, 100, in between your credit card and your license. And then, whoa, you usually get an upgrade.
Nice.
I didn't just say that on live TV. I swear. So, Carrie, we want to give you the floor because we know you've had a really hard time of it lately.
For our audience, the reason that I love football, the reason why my passion is there, my daddy, Bob Johnson, passed away early morning Father's Day. So he spent Father's Day reunited with my mom and his parents, and of course our father. When I was growing up, football was our Sunday activity, and it was that every day. And I'll absolutely date myself when I tell you that I got to pull the pull tab on the Gold Coors can, and anything that came above the can, the foam, I got to drink. And that was how we spent every Sunday. And I'm talking that I had memories of it. Well, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if it's memories or I've heard the stories enough that as little as 2, I was watching football with my daddy because I could not say football. But we watched football every Sunday. So I want to dedicate this show to the reason why I love sports in general and football specifically is because of my daddy. And yeah, my gentle giant is no longer here.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Scary.
Hugs.
Thanks.
Yep. Hugs.
Well, your mom and dad did a great job with you, young lady.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know your siblings, so I'm going to go ahead and say they did the best job with you.
With all that they had, with what they had to work with, they did the best they could.
And I love the fact that you and your dad got to share that passion and for football. For me, my dad shared, he really got us into baseball. So I feel for you because my dad left a year ago, a little over a year ago,
Mhm.
and we're still finding things and cleaning out his house. And my parents bought the house that they lived in back in 1970 and never moved.
Wow.
And they raised all four of us kids in there. They have all kinds of stuff in there. So we're still cleaning out the mess. So I know where you are, Carrie, and it's not easy.
We have my parents lived almost or right around 40 years in the current house. Um, we moved in the early 80s to the location where
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much in that house. Lord have mercy. And in a day and age where where people are decluttering and downsizing your things, I'm like, there's so much stuff that is, antiques and collections and such that are really neat items.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But because they're neat does not mean I need them in my house. So there's a lot of things
Google
that we
Lens.
have to
Google
kind of like,
Lens. Start like an Etsy store.
oh, that's
Or
a good idea. Because my
yeah,
mom
I'll give you
collected
some more
dolls,
ideas.
we have ornaments, we have stamps, we have coins, not
Take
to
your
mention
ornaments to
cookbooks and
keep those cookbooks. Separate those between you and your siblings.
no. I'm talking like hundreds. No.
Okay, find the ones with the good secret hidden recipes and keep those for yourself.
Yes. So
Am I wrong,
we
Candy?
just have so much. It's like, I'll be taking lots of pictures, but then it's wow. Anyway, let's talk sports and let's bring it happy. What do you say?
Okay, so we're gonna start with the Pelicans news with you. Then we're gonna go to Candy with Stanley, and then we're just gonna go round robin. Okay.
Sounds
All right,
perfect.
audience, get your grooves on, baby.
So we want to give a shout out to Marie Cash Canal. People know her mainly as Swin Cash, as she has been recently promoted to the senior vice president of basketball operations for the New Orleans Pelicans. So fantastic job there. I mean, that's pretty impressive in itself. But she's had a very long, impressive career as well. She was at UConn. She was a first round, second overall pick to the Detroit Shock, playing WNBA from 2002 to 2016 on those teams of Detroit Shock, Seattle Storm, Chicago Sky, Atlanta Dream, New York Liberty. There was also a Prague team that she was on. And then Samara, a team with the name Samara. We need the Queen of Hoops for that one. So she very illustrious career even as an athlete, but now that she has, here we are. She was previously the vice president of basketball operations and development, and has been recently promoted. So that I think is incredibly awesome. Let's see where. Can't remember the year. She also played on our USA national team, so that's another neat thing that she was able to do. And she's been a spokesperson against gun violence and police brutality since 2016. So she has been an advocate for athletes, an advocate for her communities, and now she has risen to this great level. So impressive career. And it's still going.
Awesome. Yeah, hats off to you, Miss Cash. That's awesome. And thanks, Gary. And now we're going to chat a little. Let me see if I can switch this around. Don't know how to. Okay. All right, now we're going to try it this way. Okay, there you go, Candy. I'm experimenting this evening.
Okay, scary thought. Jen
Right.
experimenting. Ooh. Jen, just so you know, to move people, you just click on their picture and you move them into the other position. So if
Oh
you
yeah,
want
but
to
I
put,
was saying with the layouts.
no, I know,
So
but with this layout, if you wanted to start talking instead of going back to the other, you just move your
Oh.
picture into where I am. So,
Okay, cool. Thank you.
so there's some excitement down here in South Florida.
wow.
And actually, there are some guys that have said they are no longer dreaming. It has become a reality. And what is that? 30 years in the making. Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup last night. First time in their franchise in 30 years. And last year they made it to the Stanley Cup finals, but they lost. So they were really out for revenge. And I would say a lot of people counted them out because they went up in the series. They were 3-0 and they lost the next 3 games. So it came down to a game 7 for the Stanley Cup finals. And let me tell you, it was a good game. Like, it was hard fought. You can honestly say the first 3 games, obviously, Florida won. I don't know that they deserved to win all 3 of them, but they did. The next 3, not so good. Here's what I'm going to say. The Connor Smythe trophy went to Connor McDavid. He is by far, a lot of people are going to say, the very best hockey player in the world right now. And he's on the Houston Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm going to tell you is, and I've heard this, I've been a sports fan all my life. And what they will always tell you is defense wins championships. And that is true because the Florida Panthers had the best defense. They were
Yeah.
not expected to win, but they won. And they won it on defense. They really won it on the goalie. Sergei Bobrovsky had some really good games, obviously, and then he had not some really good games. But in the end, when it counted, they won 2-1 to take the cup. Now, that cup, this is kind of cool. I really think this is kind of cool. They've taken the cup all over. They've actually, by baptism, taken it to the ocean and were kissing the cup in the ocean while they were standing, letting the waves hit them. Now, let's face it,
Aw.
it's been less than 24 hours. One of the cool things I've heard is that they're going to let each player take the cup and have it at home for one day, and they can do what they want with it. So they interviewed one of the Panthers last night, and he said what he's going to do is he's going to take it home. He's going to put his 10-month-old baby girl in the top of the cup and take pictures. He is so
Aw.
excited to do that. Like, it just warms my heart. And they
So
interviewed some of
can
the
I
players and
can
coaches.
I was going
Yep.
to tell you, I actually have a picture of my son, not sports related. It's in livestock. My Colby was 6 days old, 7 days old, and the only way that my mom would go to the state fair was if I went with my child, with my baby. So we loaded up and went up. We won. It was a bicentennial, or it was 150th anniversary the Missouri State Fair, and we won a championship animal. And we have a picture of Colby in that championship cup, sitting in the cup. And the cup is this big and stands like this tall, and my child is 6'5". So that is something so cool for this little girl because no one else in her family will have that same
Exactly.
memory.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
No. And the coach has said how special of a team this, and every year you're going to hear that, and the coach is always going to say that. But he said that the coach really said the guys really love each other and cared about each other. And you hear more and more about that, and that's what really takes a team to that next level. Is the not the me, and I need this for my records or this, but that they wanted to play for the team and do what's right for the team. So that I was just really excited about that. I mean, they keep talking about it. I was watching afterwards last night, some of the guys talking how they're just so happy that this has been their dream for their whole life. And they say one of the hardest things to do is win the Stanley Cup. And I believe it They said last night it was 258 days since they opened hockey season. So I can't imagine that much dedication, that long of a season. And we talk about these 7-game series and stuff like that, but they go through how many levels of that to get to this point. Whereas the NFL, it's a Super Bowl, it's one game. It's not like the best of series or anything like that, like basketball and hockey is so. I mean, if you watched the game last night, obviously Connor McDavid, the best hockey player, was on the ice. I want to say at least 5 of the last 6 or 7 minutes, and he was just drained. I mean, you've played how many games, and I mean, you do it because you love it and you want to win, and you think the best player out there is going to do that for you. But at some point, you also get tired. And maybe he wasn't the best at that point. I get it, though. You want to win the Stanley Cup. One game took off.
That is similar to me. Hockey and soccer to me are very similar in the fact that the stamina required for such an extended amount of time and the physicality of the games is amazing. Like,
the only thing I'll say different between hockey and soccer is hockey players get hit. Like, you hit a guy against the wall. And I can't imagine the bruises that you get from all of it. Like, I get, yes, you have to have the stamina because soccer, you're running all the time. But you don't take the physical hits like you do as a hockey player.
No, that's what that's the only two that I feel that are comparable in that. Just because the stamina, the endurance, the ability to pace yourself to last that long a time for one game.
Mm-hmm. And soccer, it's a lot longer because it's
longer, and they don't have very many breaks.
It's 20-minute, 3 segments in hockey, whereas let's face it, soccer is 90 minutes, it's 45 minutes and then another 45 minutes, and if there's injury timeouts, it extends it even more.
And so, then with soccer, isn't it that you can only sub so many times and then you're done? So even you can't rest people like you can in other sports.
And you normally
that's where I'm
in and out and in and out. Normally you're in or you come in, you don't go back and forth.
That's why I'm like, the soccer, I'm like, is so like hockey. It's just, there's so much. The human mind and the human body at that point are really taxed, and that's impressive.
These athletes are just like, their bodies are, we've said this before, like about football players, but honestly, these athletes are just, their bodies are built to withstand more than the average person. No. Like when the pain tolerance and like the muscle aches that I could tolerate when I was swimming 330 days a year and in the gym and in the summer twice a days, I could handle that a lot better than I can now that I'm, a little bit older. We're not going to say a lot older, but a little bit, just a little bit. But it's so impressive what their bodies are made to do and everything like that.
Exactly.
No, I will say it will be interesting to see how the Panthers respond for next year because they do have a bunch of free agents. And one of the guys that scored 57 goals for them this year, Evan Rodriguez, is a free agent. So will they be able to sign? And that's always the question.
He's going to come to the Canes.
Oh,
he's going to come to the Canes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right now they're opening. They're saying that the Panthers and the Stars have the same amount of chance of winning next year already. So we'll see.
Well, that's just like, I feel like that's always the kiss of death, but that's just me. So
you never know it.
You never know, but congratulations, Candy. I know that you and Scott have been covering them for a while, so congrats. Yes. Carrie, gonna need your hockey team to step it back up and win again. Okay? Please and thank you. Make some phone calls, make it happen.
On it.
All right, so Candy, since you're front screen, do you want to talk about your favorite Olympian so far right now? Or
I'm going to pass it since I've been talking a lot. I'll let one of you, Jen, you should talk.
Jen, it's your
Okay,
turn.
I'll go.
Front and center, Jen.
Now
Come
it's
on.
working. Okay, yay. Okay. Oh, my hair's all frizzy. Welcome to the Heat Dome,
Oh,
North Carolina, with Florida humidity 365 people. All right. So, as you guys know, I put posts on our page before. I'm a former swimmer, as I also just previously referenced. So, swimming's kind of my thing. So, I've been keeping an eye out, and right now, 3 of our male swimmers are faster than Australia's fastest swimmer. So that's looking good. So right now we've got Chris Galliano, Jack Alexi, Caleb Dressel, Brooks Curry, Matt King, David Johnston. We also have one of my swimming girl crushes, Katie Ledecky, back. So I always look forward to her. I know it won't happen, but I kind of want her to beat Michael Phelps' record of medals. I'm just But what's really impressive this week is, as I'm sure you guys have already heard, Sha'Carri Richardson. As we know, she got asked to leave the Olympics for a little bit of Mary Jane back in 2020, which caused this entire country into an uproar because, not to go pro weed or anti weed or anything, but honestly, weed does help athletes recover faster. Especially from pain. So, and it doesn't really help your stamina at all. Probably hurts it, especially if you're smoking it. Just saying. So, but congrats to her, because not only did she get her rightful spot on the 2024 Paris Olympic team, but she did it while almost tripping over her shoelace being untied. And I know that's an oof moment, but hats off, sister, because I was outside today and my shoe fell apart and I had to walk into my boating without shoes on because I would have hurt myself if I tried walking in.
Let me tell you, my parents missed the perfect joke of the century by not giving me the middle name of Grace or naming me Grace, because that's what I do not have. So
we know. Oops.
Listen, you're looking at someone that's broke 3 feet, her nose twice, and numerous knee injuries, sprains, and then someone looks at me hard and I have bruises. So, yeah, there's no way I could have run a freaking race with an untied shoe.
Right?
You can't run a race with a tied shoe, but untied.
Oh, and I have one more thing. My Celtics won. That's all I'm saying. I have my Hornets, who won last in the division, last in the NBA. Or was that the Pistons again? And then we have my Celtics, who I started repping a long time ago, so I've been backing them. And I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but right before the last game, Jaylen Brown looked at Jason Tatum and he goes, "I'm out here with you, man. It's you and I. We got this." And then lo and behold, they forgot a little man named Al Horford. I'm just saying he should have been MVP. Al Horford has long been the heart and soul of the Celtics. Okay, I'm done talking. Kiri, who is your Olympic person?
I'm going to go out to Miss Simone Biles. Honestly, she has been stepping up her game. She's raising the bar every day. So kudos to her. But not only that, but she is the perfect example of the reason why taking a moment, taking time to right yourself in your mental health, that can make you that much better on down the road. So we all know that she stepped out of the last Olympics due to mental health and needing to be able to regroup and focus in on herself. And then now look at what she's doing. So, while I admire her and her gymnastic skills and all that she brings, as a person that struggles at times with anxiety, even depression, seeing someone that said, "Hey," they recognized and said, "Hey, I need to take care of me." and get
Mhm.
me right so I can be right with and promote the sport and do all that I want to do. So kudos and just for that I am forever grateful because she set the stage and made it brought an awareness that everyone should be able to do this so they can bring back and come back with their A game. So it's really going to be Simone Biles. I'll be rooting for her forever because of all that she's been through, what she has done to better herself and pushing the sport forward.
Yeah, she's definitely changed gymnastics. Every time she does a new routine, she changes gymnastics.
Oh, Haktua has joined us.
Hi, Hagtua. And hi, Puff Penguin.
So sorry. I just. Hello.
Hey,
I needed
Candy,
that laugh. Thank you.
So I'm going to take a little different spin on it. And not
Oh.
necessarily that there's a favorite of mine,
No,
but I
sure,
want to talk
absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit. So the Olympics start July 26th. The
Mhm.
Olympics will now feature 4 new events this year: skateboarding, sport climbing, surfing, and breaking. Victor Montalvo, he's 30 years old, and Sonny Choi will be the first U.S. representatives in that latter category, the breaking. So, known as Big Boy Victor, Montalvo began learning the sport at age 6 with the help of his father and uncle. He is known for his signature move, the Super Montalvo, in which he drops to a crouch on one hand and performs 360-degree spins. I can't imagine. Like, I just can't imagine. And there's so many other sports. Like there's beach volleyball and basketball and so many other sports. But I thought it was just kind of cool to bring up the 4 new sports that are in the Olympics this year.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And see, I remember when baseball was added as a what was it? It wasn't an official sport. It was a
when they bring them in just for a little bit, yeah.
Showcase, and then it became, then they brought it. I always thought that was pretty cool because that's how long I've been watching the Olympics. So
I remember when the Olympics were every 4 years, literally summer and winter, and I hated it when they went to this every other year or every 2 years.
The U.S. is
I
sending
agree.
800 athletes this time. That's a
How many?
lot. 800.
800.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We are usually one of the largest. I don't want to say conglomerates. What's the word I'm looking for, ladies? Contingencies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
People, yeah.
Contingency. Typically the only larger contingency that goes in the U.S. is the country that it's being
The host
held.
country.
So that's typically the only contingency that's bigger. Prior to, after USSR was no longer. USSR and the United States always had huge contingencies.
Isn't China now bigger than Russia?
Yes. Land space, yes.
However, I will say the U.S. still owns the gold medal count. Just saying. Let's keep up that streak. Keep it up.
I can remember growing up, and it was. So you have to remember, this would be when news media was not 24 hours a day, sports media was not 24 hours a day. But the big thing is you would walk into maybe fast food restaurants, gas stations, even sometimes, but they would have medal counts. And you're always looking at how many golds, how many silver, and how many overall. And so you were always looking at, are we ahead of Russia or USSR or not? And those are things that I remember as a kid that, current generations don't understand that. But that was a huge thing. And it was typically one of the leading, when the Olympics were happening, that was one, like, always the leading story. Well, the U.S. has taken control of the medal race, and we are sitting this much ahead of blah, 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 blah. And I think it's kind of cool that that's something I latch onto and remember. It's kind of sad that it's not as celebrated, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but there was a lot of patriotism tied up into the Olympics and
Correct.
watching them and celebrating them and the fanfare. So I don't know.
I think there still is a lot of patriotism with the Olympics.
Oh, I agree with that.
Okay.
But I'm just telling you that it was.
It
It is.
a little more patriotic about other aspects of our country. That'd be fantastic. But
I agree. I just remember where, like, it was.
I mean, even
Everything
leading
in
up,
your life was centered around. I mean, even I just the thing that keeps popping in my head right now is you walk into McDonald's, and trust me, we didn't get to go to McDonald's much when I was little. We'd walk into McDonald's, and they would always have this huge display, and all of these different things that you're like, you don't see that as much, but it's probably because we have 24/7, 365 medias. But it's really kind of a thing that I remember a lot, that people planned around watching different, whatever was being shown on the TV. I mean, our families made plans around the events.
yeah,
It isn't that anymore, for me at least, but
I wonder if part of it is there are so many different media outlets, because I think even back in the day that we used to watch our local sports, and they would tell us about all the local athletes that were going to be in the Olympics. And maybe we
right.
don't watch it as much, the local because they don't, let's face it, sports they're streaming it now. They're doing all kinds of things. The sports departments at these news outlets have gone down and decreased. There barely anybody covering them now. It's, so I think that's where a lot of things have changed, because the new age, people can get everything on their phone, that a lot of these news outlets don't have the departments that used to do the research and be able to report and have the in-depth stories that we are used to.
I agree. There's a lot to be said about having access to information 24/7.
Yeah.
But I do also miss the Walter Cronkite type newscasts that I grew up on.
I will say I kind of like having Peacock, especially during the Olympics, so I can watch what I want to watch. Real Housewives. What? No, we got the Olympics, baby. Oh, VPR. Who? Okay, ladies. I hate to do this, but we do need to end it. Our girl Candy Cane over here has to get to her other show over there on the South Florida Tribune site. So please go check their show out. Her husband Scott's a great second fiddle to our superstar over here, Candy. And hi, Scott, if you're in the background. Love you, sir. And I hope if you guys have any ideas or want us to discuss anything, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. Twitter, Facebook, email, private message, however you wish. And thank you so much. Oh, and Hug Tua, I wasn't trying to be rude, but we did discuss the Stanley Cup. Candy spent a good 9 minutes on it. So feel free to please watch the show again and feedback. You can also comment, and we can try to remember to look and respond. Or you can comment next week on things you disagree with on that. Or agree with.
I do want to say, in honor of my father,
yes,
do a random act of kindness. Spread a cheer, spread a smile, start a wave.
Woo!
Our world needs it.
Come on, Candy.
Woohoo! Even down in South Florida. Woo!
Love you guys. Megan, we can wait to have you back. We love you. We miss you. And Carrie, you're in our prayers. We know it's been a really hard year. Candy, it's been a really hard year for you too. All right. Jenny, bye, guys. See you in 7.